Welcome home, Bitcoin truth seekers. Let me make sure everything is working here. Audio. Okay, you should be able to hear me. Sorry, my good microphone's not working today, so this is my little webcam mic. So hopefully I sound okay. You can hear me and such like that. So let's rock this out real quick. Welcome home, Bitcoin truth seekers. It is Wednesday, February 15th. It's 10:13 a.m. here in the Arizona desert. That's Mountain Standard Time. BitcoinDelayView.com got more for you there. All right, FinViz. The traditional market today, the big indexes are kind of indecisive with a slight positive trend. The Dow is at the Dow is negative 0.44, Nasdaq a positive 0.1, and S&P 500 a negative 0.33. If you look at the S&P 500 in general, the day is still young. We could close on a green day, no problem at all. I think Tesla's up, Apple's up, Google's up. Energy sector getting hammered big time. Communication services a bit of a mix. Healthcare in the red today. So anyway, interesting day in the market. There you go. We'll see. Let's keep on rocking. Looking at Zero Hedge here. Well, a tweet from Zero Hedge. We probably all already know, but the CPI came out yesterday. So shelter inflation up plus 7.88, up from 7.51 in December, and the highest on record. Rent inflation, it's up 8.56, up from 8.35 in December, and the highest on record. As you can see this graph, well, you can see what's going on there. So this is pretty darn stifling, isn't it? I mean, look at that. Look at it starts at 1990, kind of cruises along. In 2010, that 2008 crisis kind of blew things away. But look at this, boom, unprecedented. So gird your loins, take it easy, be careful, because we are in unprecedented times and uncharted waters. No matter what anybody says, nobody really knows. One thing I have found to be probably the oddest people on the planet right now are people who say they know what's going to happen. We ain't been here before, so we don't know what's going to happen. Uh, anyway, U.S. oil spot, a red candle today. The dollar strength index today, a green candle, making a move off the daily 314 moving average, breaking the top of that channel that it's had. Depends on how you draw that channel. It's either breaking it or darn near breaking it, depending on how you drew it. But definitely making a move off the 314 moving average on the daily, getting ready to probably move up and challenge that 200. Are we breaking out of this downtrend? Kind of early to tell, but definitely a green day for the dollar strength index. A 314 bounce would be no joke. That's a 314 moving average there in the green, and the white one is the 200 moving average. That's a daily chart. Now, this is what I wanted to note here for the S&P 500. Now, I know that some people will shake their finger at this and be like, whatever. I don't care. Um, you know, I think you can look at the S&P 500 and you can see this downwards channel it's been on. Now, have we broken out of the downwards channel on daily? I would say, yeah. We're above the S&P 500. We're above the 200 moving average. That's certain. We're challenging that 314. Are we going to get above it? We'll see what happens. Could this be right here that we're looking at, the formation of like an upwards channel that actually challenges and breaks over that 314 moving average? Some people who are happy people inside, will say like, yes, that could happen. It very well may get rejected. We shall see. What I find very interesting is this. This is Bitcoin over here, bottom right hand corner. We had a bit of a positive trend going on. It's kind of not like, let me actually delete that. But the S&P 500 challenging the 314 daily average. Bitcoin versus Tether on Binance challenging the 314 moving average on the daily. I think they're both gonna make or break it together. So this is where we're going to see a rejection of the traditional market. People who saw this upward channel are going to be like, nope, that's not going to happen. If I go back down to 200, maybe, really the S&P 500 could very well range, go back to the 200 moving average, and then find support and bounce. That would not surprise me. It does sometimes happen. You have 314, 200 moving average bounce back and forth before you break one way or the other. So let's see what happens. Bitcoin, we shall see. Like I say, the S&P 500 breaks above, I have no doubt that the Bitcoin probably will too. It would be very, very interesting if one broke and the other did not. So we'll see what happens. It's a big deal. DXY moving off the daily 314 moving average. That's okay. There you go. And of course, S&P 500 trying to get over it, and the Bitcoin is trying to get over the 314 moving average. Interesting stuff. At least the SPX and Bitcoin are above the 200 moving average, challenging that 314. Let's see what happens in general. It's healthier. The 200 is above the 314. And that's one thing that dollar strength index has going for it, is that the 200 is above the 314, where for S&P 500 and Bitcoin, the 200 is over the 314 on these daily charts. So not exactly super powerfully, bullish right there. But we'll see what happens with dollar strength index moving up hardcore today. Gold, right? Gold is just getting crushed. Would not surprise me if gold sees a visit to the 314 moving average and bounces around 1810. That definitely could be the case. Looking at silver could not keep 314 moving average. It's gone below it. Probably see a 200 moving average bounce around $20.99. That could be the case, or we shall see. Right now, gold, silver getting hammered. DXY is having its vengeance for sure. S&P 500, I think so far, a barely, maybe, negative, neutral day. Not quite negative, not quite positive yet. Day is still young. We'll see what happens. All about that 314 breakout on the daily, or a retrace to the 200 and some sideways action, and we'll see if it gives it another shot, or if it just gives it all back and goes way back down to the bottom of the channel, which would be around 3,200 or so. Anyway, I'm just babbling about it at this point, but really this is a very, very important moment. So watch yourself, have your stops tight, because if the S&P gets rejected hard or Bitcoin gets rejected hard, crypto market is going to go potty. And already we're seeing a lot of the alts that were running up, they're beginning to basically retrace a bit. So we're going to have to either be shorting or waiting for another cycle upwards before we start making money again. Anyway, I do note this morning we had a little bit of frisky movement here in Bitcoin. It's a 15-minute chart. It definitely wrecked some shorts. That's good to go. Buys are coming in. Let's look at our actual volume today. Actually, buys and sells are happening. You can see a lot of buy and sell pressure. Volume was up 10 plus billion. Now it's at 9 billion. So we're at 9 billion for Bitcoin trading explicitly last 24 hours. That's not bad for today. Looking at the big exchanges, like the top 20, most right now are in the red. They were in the green this morning, but not by much. So definitely volume is trailing off for spot trading volume. Let's look at derivatives. 39,000, basically at 40,000, 40 billion, I should say, for us leverage trading on Binance is where I look to really measure that, down 18% last 24 hours. And Bybit's really an up-and-coming exchange. A lot of people do use that. It's coming in at 8.5 or 8.6 billion last 24 hours, down 24%, and that's fairly recent that we're taking these dives in leverage and also spot trading for all pairs. All right, looking at Bitcoin in the top 100 here, it's been kind of a green day for the market, for Bitcoin and the crypto market. Excuse me, it's nice to see. We're coming in at 22,770 for Bitcoin. Not bad. Looking at the top 100, a lot of green going on. Mina has been doing quite well. Let's look at Mina before we get out of here. Mina. And White Bit Token, WBT, is doing pretty good. Render, RNDR, doing pretty good at 11.7%. It's definitely, most of the top 100 are in the green. Many are up, 5% plus, 10% plus, mostly 5% plus. So that's a good day. Good day. Market's doing quite well. Even with the DXY pumping and S&P really not strong today, it's cool to see the crypto market, making this move. For Bitcoin, longs versus shorts on Binance, got 52% long, 47% short. And for Ethereum, 53% long, 46% short. So definitely a slightly long bias for Bitcoin. Now, here's the deal. Bitcoin this morning, 45-minute chart. Let's see, a good couple hours ago, February 4th, would have been yesterday, around 7:15 a.m. for me. Boom, had a break back above that 200 moving average, found support, continued going sideways. Now, boom, it's above the 314 also. Looking good, pushing to the top of that ATR cave. This is a pretty strong move. I like what I'm seeing. This is great. Squeeze indicator looks good. Directional index is good. ADX is good. Volume is good. This is a darn nice chart. It's a 45-minute chart. Let's look at an hour. Hour looks about the same. This is pretty darn powerful. Let's look at a 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart looking great, making a move. It's below that 200 moving average. Squeeze indicator is beginning to, this is beginning to show positive there. Directional index is in the green, ADX is in the right spot. Some nice little volume spikes there for a 4-hour chart. Not looking too bad. Truly, could we be seeing here on the 4-hour chart a cup and handle pattern? Not a bad idea. Could be. I'm not sure that really matches big picture how the cup and handle usually tends to work. But as you can see here on the 4-hour chart, we were pumping crazy. We ranged sideways forever, dumped, and if you look at that, there you can see at the cup and handle, but more of a BART pattern. Anyway, something to note. This 4-hour chart looks pretty good. It would not surprise me if things just keep going really, really well. I could see the possibility of it's kind of hard to do an upwards channel here, but let's just say we did it like, oh, sorry about that. Let's say we did an upwards channel, something like this. This is a little bit hokey, but you could almost say that that's an upwards channel. We fell out of it, found the 200 moving average there on the 4-hour chart, and we'll continue moving up, but we shall see. This 4-hour chart does look like it would not surprise me if Bitcoin kept pumping and pushed its way all the way back into the top, into this upwards channel that it had going. Although that's kind of, this is a little bit too. I can't quite. That's just for fun. I'm not sure if I'd really call that a channel. Let's look at the Keltner bands on the 4-hour chart. You can definitely see where Bitcoin is pushing above. It's actually broken above that 4-hour Keltner band. So it's kind of in the sell territory. But at the same time, these indicators look really strong. There's a break over the 200 moving average. It's already above the 314, the 4-hour chart. I mean, it's looking pretty strong. So, hey, let's see what happens. We definitely could see Bitcoin, like I say, cruise right back into what, however you might want to make this as a channel, if you want to call that a channel. I mean, I'll say that one more time. You can kind of say that was a channel, and it sort of fell out of it. It would not surprise me if Bitcoin goes right back up into it, comes down, finds support, and continues up. That would be extremely bullish. And if it does, that'd be great. And you can see here in the indicators, it very well could happen. So, there you go. That's my take on it. That could very well happen. So let's look at a Bitcoin here with a MACD. Come on, I know you're there somewhere. There we go. That'll work. Daily chart is a weekly, actually. Let's just look at a daily chart. This is awesome. Kind of saw this forming yesterday. The tangent of the MACD on the daily is now positive for sure. Histogram's closing in the right direction. That's going to definitely be very bullish for a lot of individuals. And I do think there is a lot of people who do have trade bots, systems, even institutions, really, individuals and institutions that this positive or negative MACD, especially across in the daily, is definitely a big buy and sell signal. I've seen people, with trade bots do it on the when it's positive on the daily, it'll actually buy and sell in and out on 2-hour MACD crosses. Interesting stuff. Anyway, so there we go. Let's see what happens on the daily. Can you see? Yeah, this is interesting. Also, this here, I kind of forget, like I say, what the 21 EMA was all about, but 21 EMA, we're back above it after dropping below it, and above it does seem to be, of course, a little bit bearish, and below it, I mean, bullish, and below it is a little bit bearish. So anyway, there you go. Now, for alts, you're seeing a lot of this, with Bitcoin's volatility, it really dumped a lot of alts. A lot of alts that are doing quite well are starting to roll over a little bit now. You've kind of had this, like if we look at Matic here, it's definitely had some pretty powerful, dumps and pumps here, but in general, we'll see what happens. Is this Matic going to continue or what? We're finding with, I'm finding a lot of alts kind of in this state where They ran up, they're great, and they're kind of like Bitcoin right now. They kind of fell out of that channel. It's all about, are they going to break back into that channel and continue going? Right now, Matic looks like it's possible, but do note that the squeeze is trending down. Directional next is kind of good actually, and volume good enough to keep going. So we're seeing a lot of alts like this. I do like this morning with Bitcoin's bullishness. Matic did make a 200 moving average bounce, and it's moving up, but it's kind of going sideways. Up and sideways. Nice purple candles by Sam here. Definitely, powerful movement up. Let's see how it goes. It is not quite at the top of the ATR cave yet, so let's go to a 4 hour. I'm sorry, it's 3 hour. Let's go to 4 hour, and then let's fire up our Keltners once again here, and just look, and you can see, look at that. Definitely. Matic may have more room to go. I tend to kind of want to take profit when I get in this Keltner range here, but this guy here in the 4 hour chart could definitely continue way back up to the top of the ATR cave, or at least up to like this high. I wouldn't trade this right now. It's not good, but if you're in, you're happy. So there you go. Let's just let's see what else is going on here with trades. I'll look at my little KYNG list that I call it. A lot of alts like this morning, as you can see. This guy's been trending down for a while. ENQ, trending down, tried to break out, couldn't do it. Now it's making another breakout attempt. Indicators look kind of interesting. I'm going to watch this one because definitely, you never know. This might be the day that it actually comes up, breaks, finds support, and continues moving. Could happen. Maybe it's given enough back. Clay versus USDT. Once again, it's like many had an upwards channel going, kind of went sideways, lost it, bounced off the 200 moving average. Now it's going to try to continue moving up. Let's see if it can. Indicators look pretty good. But really we are looking at kind of a glass ceiling here. I'm seeing this like all over the place, really. It kind of needs to break above here, make a new higher high and a higher low. It kind of needs to start moving again before it's too exciting. But indicators don't look too bad here on the 4 hour chart at all. 8 versus USDT. 314 bounce, going to challenge that 200. Indicators look not so bad. Pond versus USDT, second 200 moving average bounce. One thing I would note here, it's a pattern that that kind of blockchain education kind of found. It's a W. W is usually equal win. So definitely the 200 moving average could be interesting. Squeeze indicators going in the right direction. Directional next is looking good. ADX is kind of waning off though. This is a 4 hour chart. It's all about really will it continue moving up from here? Maybe let's look at like a 45-minute chart for immediate price action, and you can kind of see where it broke the 200. It's stuck underneath the 314. Indicators don't look too bad, just not too exciting. I'm just not seeing a lot of energon really in the alt market, even though we're moving up. Are we going to actually start a new uptrend? I think the thing is, we might be cycling now. You have a big cycle up, come down, cycle down, up cycle, down cycle, up cycle, down cycle. Let's see what happens. If Bitcoin stays strong and goes sideways for a little bit, even sideways, but up above the 200 and 314, like on the 4 hour chart and the 1 hour chart, if it can stay even going sideways above those important moving averages, we'll see all start to explode again, I think. We're seeing a lot of moves like this, but it's all about, okay, great, this guy moved this morning, broke the 200, looking good, but it's stuck at the 314. That is Kava versus USDT, 45-minute chart here. Ruin versus USDT. I love this coin. It's stuck at the 314. Ren versus USDT. Broke the 200, not quite at that 314 yet. SNX versus USDT. Oh, look at that. Broke the 200, can't get above the 314. So you kind of got to wait for some breakouts, get some higher highs, higher lows going again on all that you might be interested in. Mana Decentraland, been giving it back for a while. This morning it's got some energy, trying to make a break, but this thing's going to have a ways to go before I'd really be excited. There's a lot of alts just sort of like kind of rolling over at this time. We'll see. I mean, sorry about that. Is Mana going to get back in an upwards trend right now? Whoa. I tell you what, though, to be watching alts that you like, that you're interested in right now is a very good thing, because if Bitcoin at the S&P 500 breaks out 314, if Bitcoin breaks out 314, they find support there. They continue moving up from there. DXY takes a dump. Then you're going to see, alts lose their mind. Bitcoin will be fun just to kind of like cruise in, hang out, make some money. But really, that's why I always have my list of alts that I kind of like where they're at. I'm watching them, because really, if Bitcoin does lose its mind, and the S&P loses its mind. I mean, like the day that the S&P breaks 314, and so does Bitcoin. You're gonna see coins like Mana here just go like boom. It's gonna be, and some alts, especially alts against BTC, are gonna make you, mad, crazy games. Anyway, I don't know if we're going through all these, but I think Lund C versus USDT was kind of interesting. I like this one here today because, as you can see, it's been moving up. It's kind of choppy, of course. That's putting it lightly. It's definitely a choppy chart. I think you can kind of see where it definitely did, fall out of its upwards channel. But do note, it broke below the 200 moving average, but it's been riding that 314. I mean, really, really hard, And so we're starting to see some upwards energons here in the indicators, like the squeeze, and directional index has been moving towards the positive for a while now. As you can see, that towards the positive, squeeze towards the positive. It really would not surprise me if Lund C versus USDT kind of went on a mad run again, breaking that 200, kind of getting this upwards movement started again. Definitely could see that. So that's why I'm watching some of these alts, because especially if Bitcoin gets frisky, does something unique, Lund C is going to do stuff like this. Probably challenge that previous high, and that would be a sweet ass trade to be in. I mean, if you were to hop into that, if you thought, okay, man, market's really starting to move, and you put your trade in here, just basically to that like previous high, do a tight stop right below the 200, below the 314. If it starts moving, it might range between the 200 and 314 if it doesn't go straight through. But basically, you're looking at like 20% easy. It could make that trade what, in like an hour, So that's why I'm watching a lot of alts that are interesting. Let's take a sneak peek over here at the at some really hot pairs against BTC. You can see CFX versus BTC took off this morning. Insane rocket ship to Pluto. Boom. So CFX versus BTC. Great looking chart, strong indicators. It kind of pushed too hard. It's probably going to retrace some, but dang, that's badass. ASTR, wow, it went right back to its previous the previous fib that I had drawn. So it's definitely pushing hard. Indicators look great. ASTR versus BTC. Will it continue going? We'll see. It's just such a hard push this morning. Things really, these reacted very powerfully to Bitcoin. I like this RNDR, render. I think, render RNDR versus Bitcoin. Are we seeing up and handle here? Woo! Are we? Interesting. We very, very well might be. And you know what else we might be seeing? I kind of see it playing out here. What am I seeing here? Oh, look at that. It's a W for win. You know what I mean? Indicators just starting to get going. 4-hour chart. Very, very powerful. RNDR versus BTC. Trade it how you trade it and see how it works for you, Anyway, and now quickly for some news. Sorry if I'm not too energetic about the charts, even though they're green. I just need to give it a day or later on today. Let's see how Bitcoin continues to move. Let alts recover a little bit, get some lower lows, get some lower highs, really show their direction. If you do get in, for heaven's sakes, tight stops, because this thing could turn around really, really fast. But looking at Bitcoin here on the 45-minute chart, I'll even look, that's really powerful. Above the 200, pushing the ATR, strong indicators, nice volume. I like what I'm seeing. Hourly chart, Bitcoin is really nice and strong. I like what I'm seeing. This is a good thing. It hasn't pumped too fast. It isn't too far from moving average on the hourly chart. It's above the 200 and bottom, 314 on top, and the moving 8 is above the 314. So this thing very well might just start ranging sideways, but if it ranges sideways above these important indicators on the hourly chart and the 45, and of course also the 4-hour chart, and especially if we have a slight uptrend going, that's going to be wonderful. Looking at the 4-hour chart, as you can see, a place that I'll start to kind of really for sure get a bit excited is right around here. Let's do a trend line here. I should actually say no. I just want a line. It's gonna be a line. That's good enough. I'll just do a trend line. That'll work. So you can kind of see where we have we're going to find resistance here right around like where is that? It's around like 23,900, 23,000, 24,000 or so. You're going to find another resistance there. So, I mean, Bitcoin, wow, it's looking good here on the 4-hour chart. If I wanted to be very daring, looking at this beautiful squeeze indicator and directional index and that volume, you know, if a person was really, really hot on Bitcoin, could you actually do a trade right now and just get out before the top of that, before you hit this resistance, do a tight stop below the 200 moving average there on the 4-hour chart. You have ways you could, if it dumps, you're going to be unhappy because that's kind of a good, that's a pretty good, dump to get back to that. That's going to be probably more than you really want to risk there. So I guess you kind of want to move this up to here, and that's risk reward 2.27. So basically, that's like a 2% stop. So that's not too bad versus like a 4 or 5% possible win there to get back to this previous high. If you're really daring, you could do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to watch for alts that are set up to really make more powerful runs. But definitely, let's just look at some news real quick and move it out of here. All right. Everybody knows about the over in Palestine, Ohio. This guy here, UAE Exotic Falconry and Finance. Interesting. I got a distribution map, and this is kind of like a particle cross sections. Interesting. Not sure how we got this here, but you can kind of see the height, 5,000, 7,000, 10,000. It's really, really interesting. So we're seeing like by the wind and such from Palestine, Ohio, it's blowing this way towards the Great Lakes. That's all we need is the what I understand is there's the burning train cars created a lot of extremely nasty chemicals that have hit the atmosphere. Well, hit the clouds basically. I think it's dioxin is what has been mentioned, is like what burning chlorine products do. I had an article up, but it disappeared, so sorry about that. But anyway, it's moving, I guess you could say, northwest. So, people, there you go. It's moving. This is going to be interesting. We're going to see what happens. Truck overturns in Arizona, spills nitric acid, triggers shelter-in-place alert. What a mess. You can kind of see on Twitter here, people driving by. Luckily, the wind was going the other way. But if you're driving, if you're on this side of the highway, you're pretty good. If you're over there, maybe not so hot, Hope they closed their windows and turned on air recycle or turned off air altogether as they drove past that thing, because that's some nasty chemicals there. I'm sure they closed this highway because they'll close the highway for a hubcap that falls off here in Arizona. So I'm sure that they closed the highway both ways. But in fact, they did, but they hadn't done it yet. So you can actually see what a mess. So anyway, this stuff's happening all over the place. And that's why if you go over to bitcoinlevy.com, top of the page there, get yourself one of these gas masks. Just get people that you care one of these gas masks. They come with a couple canisters. These are real Israeli surplus. They're not very expensive. They're wonderful. I use mine for painting and sanding, and of course I have new canisters for it if I ever really need it. I'm telling you what, I've had them for years, and I always thought I was kind of silly being a prepper and having gas masks. And now I'm like, well, something nasty just happened down the road for me. And of course, Ohio speaks for itself. As you can see, and Ohio is, spreading northeast. And if the gases that are claimed to be created by those burning train cars, really, if that's true, it's not a good thing. As somebody here says, don't eat anything that grows there. I've got better shit coming from a different contact in a different agency. Interesting. So anyway, guys, this guy here is someone to definitely follow. I'm going to start following him. I'm going to actually copy a link. I will put him in the live chat here so that if you have interest, you can follow him because he's putting out good info. Anything new recently? Let's see. He's a falconry dude. Yeah, vinyl chloride is burned. It produces dioxins, potent neurotoxin, liver toxin. So anyway, this guy's good to follow. We'll see. I just don't know. I'm not a chemist. I can't tell you if the whole dioxin thing is for real and if the burning of what was in the cars created it. But if it did, that distribution map should be very, very, and also the water tables, the way things actually, the Ohio River, where that it goes east, I think, and waterways go east and west, I think, here in the East Coast, because it's all so many streams and creeks, and it's like a sponge out there. So anyway, guys, I won't belabor it anymore, but like I'm saying, get yourself a gas mask. Go to bitcoinolivia.com, top of the page, get yourself one. I got that exact gas mask. In fact, I'll actually wear it during the next daily view. Lufthansa restores flights after severed internet cable paralyzed operations. We all know that's going to happen. What a mess. Goes to show things happen. U.S. informs Ukraine doesn't have enough long-range missiles to send, or ultimately also munitions. And one of the issues here is like for munitions, the Ukrainians are using a lot of older Soviet stuff, and it's many different sizes of shells, so it kind of gets hard to like produce a lot of it. But basically, it does seem that U.S., through NATO ultimately, because NATO is the U.S., U.S. is NATO, are saying, we need some of our missiles for our own purposes. And also, if you read this article here, it was actually a different article I was reading, the amount of artillery that the Russians are firing, it just dwarfs what the collective West can actually make to counter that. So anyway, Ukraine, nice try, but, the world's getting tired of you. And they can afford to, I don't think the West can afford to continue in that venture. Last Republican Federal Trade Commissioner resigns, slams chair over abuse of power. And that's why I kind of called this episode, I mentioned Khan, because the lady's name is Khan. This is really powerful. This lady actually said, Christine Wilson, she actually said, I refuse to give their endeavor any further hint of legitimacy by remaining. Since Ms. Khan's confirmation in 2021, my staff and I have spent countless hours seeking to uncover her abuse of government power. The task has become increasingly difficult as she has consolidated power within the office of chairman, breaking decades of bipartisan precedent. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe this is just partisan hacking, just a desire to give somebody a hard time. I couldn't really tell you. But we'll see what's going on. Let me see. Let's look at that first comment. If it'll load, it's usually the best one. We should disband all 3-letter non-elected commissions and organizations. I agree. Yeah, let's get rid of all of them. If your government department or NGO has a 3-letter acronym, you're out. That it would be some pain for some people, maybe all of us, but be a better world before long. Matt Walsh, he said something very interesting. He said last week they wouldn't shoot down a spy balloon over Montana for fear of the impact on civilians. If that had any legitimacy whatsoever, I don't know whose spy balloon that was. Whatever, maybe China's. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but we didn't shoot it down. I guess we did shoot it down eventually. If it even existed, I question. But beyond that, he continues, the week before they blew up thousands of gallons of toxic chemicals and poisoned the air and water supply in order to clear a train derailment. Someone makes sense of this. Yeah, really. It goes to show. And really, I have to ask, I don't care what anybody says, did they really, set it on fire deliberately, or did it catch on fire? And beyond that, was that really a way to handle it? Because it seems that if it's true about the whole dioxin thing, then they really have, then this is jacked, man. The East Coast is this could be like, this is insane, who knows? But on a good note, and this is not real, but it should be. But if this model ever actually does come out, I'm getting this Tesla because this is badass. And maybe this is our future looking at the way things are going. Anyway, what if this thing could run on Bitcoin? That'd be kind of cool. Anyway, remember, everybody, thank you for being here. Being a Bitcoin truth seeker is definitely a vote for optimism in this world. That's what I have. I think it's fun to be here. I hope that you wake up every day with excitement to trade, excitement to see what the world is doing. Remember, for every Bitcoin Satoshi you own is the ultimate bet on an optimistic future for humanity, a beautiful sci-fi future. It's wonderful, and it punches a nasty globalist right in the nuts, runs them out of money. Kind of like here. Where's that story we were looking at? Where is that story? Where is it at? Yeah, because I think we're winning because they can't afford to keep pushing this proxy nonsense. So, but unfortunately, we're going to go bankrupt in the process unless we keep stacking those sats and chilling. So anyway, take care.